Hello and welcome to the video. This is our first look at a brand new radio from RadioMaster. This is the version 3 of the TX16s that they've had since they started as a business. This has some major upgrades and improvements over the previous versions of the TX16s, and also has some really cool features in this one, as this one is the Max edition, which has upgraded gimbals, all aluminium kind of switchwork controls and knobs, and also this carbon look effect. The headlines for this are that this now is a H7 processor inside, so designed to run EdgeTX for the foreseeable future with much more horsepower. In fact, I'll show you in a minute when I was playing with it. This turns on incredibly quickly. It has a much larger screen, which is now flush with the actual front of the radio itself. Touch, as you would expect, so it works in exactly the same way as all the other radios that you've ever seen that kind of do all this stuff. Has LED lights around the bezels, so you can set those up to be off and maybe to come on and flash in the event of an error or whatever. Backlit power button, and it's just a more modern version with all of the new features that have been on the recent radios, and gives us a new version of the TX16s. I forgot to mention this, I'm going to do it as part of the intro. It does have a foldable piece here that's part of the handle that kind of folds down, so rather than it being that kind of just strap handle that's been on some of the radios recently, it's got a proper handle so that you can actually prop it up on the bench. This is a crossfire module in the back. Just be aware, I meant to mention this later in the video, but I'm going to cover it now. If your module is quite bulky at the back, you're going to struggle to get this to lie flat. That's one of the few things about this that I found in the 3 or 4 days that I've had it, that I've kind of gone, oh, that's a bit of a shame. It would have been maybe better to have the handle have some kind of cutout. But just be aware of that. If it's a regular sized recessed module like this, it'll fold down great. So while I unbox it, let's go through the specs. So again, this is an STM32H7 CPU in here, which a lot of the modern radios have, which is going to be perfect for EdgeTX. Touchscreen display, this is now a 5-inch 800 by 480 IPS touchscreen, very vivid and looks absolutely beautiful actually in real life. V6 quad bearing hall gimbals. These are AGO2 compatible, and AGO2s are actually on this Max edition that we've got here. RGB programmable gimbal lights, internal RF module which has Gemini on it, so this does come with Gemini straight out the box. Smart balance battery circuits, so in terms of charging the batteries and managing them, that's all done again through the single USB-C connector at the top, which is more common on these more modern style radios. A more powerful cooling system inside, so when things get warm it's going to sort that out. Digital audio now, better sound quality, and in the playing I've had here it is an awful lot louder. Dual foldable antennas, similar to some of the other radios I've looked at recently. I really like them, and we'll have a closer look in a minute, but I think they look far more modern and more robust than the old style antennas that I've snapped a few off in my time. It's got a built-in microphone for future expansion. Also has things like a motion sensor that you could use to trigger things like maybe telemetry readouts. You can adjust the backlight as you would on most of these radios. 4 gig of onboard flash memory with a micro SD card support in the battery bay if you want to add more storage, and removable shoulder switch panels. I'll show you those in a minute, which means that you can kind of swap things around, and I hope they make more different panels available so that you can plug it in. Runs off a 2S battery. It doesn't come with batteries by default. This review unit has, but be aware you'll need a couple of 18650s or a nice 2S battery setup to pop in the battery bay. Dimensions are 200 by 178 by 88 millimeters. Weight is 813 grams without a battery, and with the batteries in it, it balances beautifully from the neck strap. So let's go through the switches on this new Mk.3. Let's start on the face because that's relatively easy. We have the standard scroll wheel and enter. We have 4 key navigation, return at the top, page forwards and backwards, and telemetry. We then have the system and model buttons. In this kind of new style that RadioMaster seem to be embracing now, which is these are slightly dished. I do quite like them. Your thumbs kind of just find them and fall into them. Makes it very easy to find them when you're doing things quickly. We then have the regular trims for the main controls. We have the 6 buttons down here, which are kind of a little bit out the way. I don't actually use them as an FPV pilot, so having them take up less real estate works for me. Auxiliary trims, we have, this is a Mk.II radio with the new gimbals. Again, feels absolutely lovely. Height adjustable sticks. And then on the top, we have 2 rotary controls, both with a central detent, which is fab, S1 and S2. We have SD is a 3 position, SC is 3 position, SB and SA are both 3 positions. Those are the default things that are actually on the radio. On the top, if we fold down the antenna, we'll just open this little doohickey here. We have our DSC head jack and our USB-C port to connect it to stuff, kind of nicely hidden away. Then we have these shoulder pieces, again, 3 position switches with a momentary at the back, and then 3 position with a 2 at the back. So very similar to the previous version. And again, on the back, we have 2 sliders, LS and RS, both with a nice, strong central detent. You can delete those controls if you don't want them. That's what these extra pieces here are. They can be removed and replaced by these. You can move the switches across and it's going to delete that. However, as a fixed wing pilot, I don't know why I'd ever do that. Lifting up the handle, then we can see we have access into the back of the grips. These are the leather style grips that's come on this one. Access into the full-size JR bay, which is fab. And then we have the battery bay at the bottom. So the big question, of course, is how does it compare with the previous generation of the TX16s? And putting them side by side gives a very good indication of how they stack up. Let me just fold down each of the things at the back so they're sitting reasonably flat. You see here that this one is a lot more rounded, much less boxy than the Mk.II. In terms of the actual width, the sides have much more relief on them, so they actually fit far nicer ergonomically, very similar to their other recent radios. And the way it's laid out, you know, particularly, I really like these antennas actually. It means that you have the integrated antenna, which is, I think, looks a lot more modern than this kind of old school antenna that's kind of sticking on top of here. In terms of the screens and layouts, well, you know, there's an awful lot of difference here. This is a much bigger screen, but the way it feels in the hands is probably the biggest difference. If I just kind of hold this, let me pop out the thing at the back, it, you know, just feels like a TX16s. If you've ever held one of these, you know exactly what I mean. It's kind of big, it's boxy, it's bristling with switches, it has the sliders on the shoulders. Yeah, it kind of works. This one though, and again, let me put out the pieces as though we were flying. It feels a lot nicer. Your hand kind of goes around here, which actually puts your index finger right by the slider. I think this is a much better position for the slider than on the original TX16s. This is a little bit similar to what it was like on the old Taranis, which is a big plus for me personally. So as you're flying around, both fingertips are on those. It kind of feels like a lot of the radio is sat below your hands, whereas on this one, when you're holding it, it kind of, you know, the bottom of your hand is kind of almost the bottom of the radio. In this one, the natural position of your fingers on this, there's an extra kind of ½ an inch at the bottom, the chin piece, which is kind of interesting because they're very similar kind of distances and lengths. we didn't talk about this before. There are no additional kind of things to plug in. We have the two kind of sockets here, which a lot of the recent radios have had. They look like they're just for M3 screws potentially. So, you know, ergonomically, if you had a TX16s Mk.II and went on to this, it would feel like a very different radio because of the way the ergonomics are all laid out. In fact, this kind of feels, and again, I think this is quite good, kind of a chunky GX12. Now, I love the GX12. It's one of my flight radios. I don't take this to the field a lot. You've seen it in things like the video with the Argus FPV Rock VTOL, because the big screen with things like telemetry apps like Yahoo and stuff is really nice. This is probably what I'm going to bind to it and probably switch over my VTOL to this particular layout. So let me turn it on, show you the screen. The power button is massive now compared to what it used to be. So press and hold that. Nice loud speaker by default. We have the bezels around the outside of the sticks that can be illuminated. We have a backlit power button. We also then have the different colors, very similar to a lot of the other pieces recently. And we have a very modern version of EdgeTX on here. So this, in terms of a layout for flying in darker conditions, is kind of set up straight out the box. So let's go into manage models. The layouts and everything else is very similar. I'll tell you what, let's just go into system. Let's have a look at what it's come with. Yeah, so it's version 2.12, self-build. Options here: Crossfire, Ghost, AFHDS3, multi-module, Lua C, CLI and pass-through. So it looks in pretty good shape. Looks like the module internally is called the RadioMaster TX16s Mk.3. Okay, cool. What about if we just look at the Express LRS stuff? 363 is the version that's on here. So everything is nice and current on release versions. So yeah, this is going to look absolutely beautiful if you want to have something like a Yahoo or one of the telemetry scripts, and that's kind of the really important thing to you. You know, this as a screen is a very nice screen. Again, it's probably not going to handle very high levels of direct sunlight without you turning the background illumination up all the way. But in terms of how it actually works and how it looks compared to the other screen, if I just put this side by side, let me zoom out 1 second, and I just power this on. You can see how much bigger the screen is. The other thing that I've just noticed, actually, while I've been doing this side by side, is it's powering on. I mean, this is a modern radio, right? So we have modern CPUs, we have more RAM, those kind of things.
Welcome to EdgeTX.
This is firing up an awful lot quicker than the TX16s, even in this kind of blinged out trim. So this is going to be a radio that's probably going to be able to support more advanced features in EdgeTX and the scripts as we all move forward. So I haven't had a chance to really put this radio through its paces. I haven't had it long enough. I've only had it a handful of days, just enough to kind of go through the basics, have a look at how everything is set up and configured, and just have a little bit of a play. The things that have really stood out to me have been the size of the power button, really odd thing to mention. Massively impressed with where they have put the sliders. Please, RadioMaster, put these on more of your radios for us fixed-wing boys and girls. The other thing that I really like is actually the fact that there isn't any kind of bezel around the screen. Now, this has been something that they've had on things like their TX15 and some of their other radios for a while. Navigating this actually feels really natural compared to this sunken screen that we have here on the TX16s. I didn't think this looked a slightly older design until I put them side by side, and you can definitely tell which is the modern radio with modern radio aesthetics. So over the next coming months, you're going to see this. This is almost certainly going to become the radio that I use with scripts like Yapu, with scripts like iNav, Lua script, and all those different pieces. You're probably going to see this a lot more. The screen is also not doing that weird kind of flickery thing on the radio. I don't know if that's just because this, as I'm shooting this morning, I've just managed to, you know, kind of magically find the setup that works perfectly for my camera, but it just looks beautiful. There's no other word for it. So if you've been hanging on for a big radio, there's now the Mk.3. If you have any specific questions, do put them down below. I may do a follow-up video when I've had a little bit more time with it and address some of the specific questions that some of you may have. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Pedantry 60 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.